So I'm trying to show you that you can use a lot of different technologies to discover a lot, and that's what the definition of Scientology is, knowing how to know. And let's not have any back off on using this tech to not only, and that's what I'm going to talk to the senior CSs about, and we're going to like relay this information to you guys, is like, if we sit around and wait for the church to create the upper OT levels, don't hold your breath. Because you have to be an OT already to create the upper OT levels. And I don't think they are. I don't think they made it. At least they haven't come up with anything good other than their quantum meter. I like that. Okay. Another aspect in finding your one more aspect, and then we break for lunch. This all making sense to you guys? Good. Okay, I'm not even going to write this up here. Hubbard talks about the game of life containing various aspects or players. And he says the first, you first look at, because we're all playing the game of life, if we like it or not. We're here, we've got a body, we're playing the game of life, right? And one of the first things he talks about is broken pieces. People, you see a lot of broken pieces, like homeless people, stuff like that. These guys are not even playing the game. A pawn is somebody who's being used. You know, like somebody who just gets out of the RPF, you know, they pretty much a pawn.
Somebody who's just been asked to donate $1 million to the IAS.
They're pawns. The game player, above that is the game player, is the guy who is the reg, you know, who makes them sign up for that. A game leader, which is the next one up, could be a guy who's the executive telling the reg to sign the guy up. Okay. A master game player is someone who's, say, who's mastered it, who winds up in the position of power, mastered the game, whatever game he's playing. There's one above that called a game maker, and that's the person who makes games. Like LRH made the game of going up the bridge. You didn't put that together. Okay. There's one above that. And that's the master game maker. The master game maker. That's a person who makes game makers. All right? 10 years ago, I decided to play this game, well, me and some other people decided to play this game as, let's play the game of putting a convention on once a year. There was a meeting. There was about 12 people there at my center, and we had a meeting. They were demanding a convention, and I said, oh, no, the church is going to attack us, you know, so I was lazy about it. And one of them stood up and said, how much do you need? And I threw out a figure thinking that she's not going to do this. She ain't going to give me this much money. That way I can get out of it, right? I said $6,000. She quickly wrote me a check. I was caught. Had to do it. I tried to get rid of it, couldn't do it. The game is bigger than me. The game of Scientology is bigger than me. The purpose is bigger than first dynamic me. It's our game. It's your guys' game. If it wasn't, you wouldn't be here, right? Because each and every one of you guys have other people that you're going to go talk to. A lot of you have groups. People are going to see this on the internet. The world will see this on the internet. Millions of people. I'm not trying to make speakers nervous when they come up here, but you're going to be watched by millions for years and years to come. Right, Trey? And this is a good thing. This is a good thing. Okay, so why did I list the games? You know, from broker, pieces, broken pieces to a master game player, because you already have decided where you're going to be, and you could decide again which one of these you're going to be. Obviously, you're not a broken piece. Obviously, you decided not to be a pawn. You're not in a church anymore. You know, if you're in a church, you're a pawn. Game player. Yeah, you can be a game player in this game. Free zone. I'm interested in meeting people who want to be master game players. You know, helping set up groups. And that's the same game that our friend Max is playing. Okay. And I'm also interested in making master game makers, because they go out and create other groups. Okay? All right. So I'm getting the thing over here. Does anybody have any questions before I end off? Before we end off? Yeah.
Was there anything missing? Starting at the bottom, it goes broken piece, pawns, game player. Is the next one game maker?
Yeah, I'll show you. I have right here. When we're done, I'll copy it off this. All right. Broken pieces, pawn, game player, game leader, master game player, game maker. Where does Ellery's talk about this stuff on the tape? Anybody from
Philadelphia Doctor Tapes.
Philadelphia Doctor Tapes, right. Yeah.
It's gods and makers of gods are also on there too, right? Gods and makers of gods.
I think that's what we're talking about here.
Okay.
Yeah, if you can influence the physical universe, make it go your way, isn't that godlike?
Maybe.
I think women are goddesses because they can create another creature. You see. We can't. Okay. Any one more question back there?
Yeah, you said that you developed the triangle?
The beginning triangle? Yeah. Yeah, for the purpose of trying to find people's purpose in life. So I'm using Scientology basics to do this, because it was needed and wanted. All right. All right. Any other questions? One more question. That's it.
You had purposes on the seventh dynamic?
What was it on, you guys?
Dimension.
That was the idea, dimension, inspiration was 7. Oh, there's one more thing. You got time for one more minute?
Yeah.
One more thing. How could I forget this? How can I forget this? This is a basic thing. Forgive me.
2 hours sleep.
Yes? All right, 3 minutes. I got 3 minutes. Be, do, have. We're all familiar with that, right? We can match this up with start, change, stop. What else can we match this up with?
Create, survive, destroy.
Create, survive, destroy.
ARC.
A-R-C. K-R-C. All right. Okay, so with the use of the higher levels, superpower tech we got, and these other technologies, we made a great discovery I want to share with you guys. And there are 3 other things that happen way before this happens. This happens in the mess universe. The guy decides to be a cop, he does cop stuff, he has a cop life. There are 3 things that happen in the theta universe before this happens. See, what happens here is a person has to be willingness, to be a cop before he can be one. Even if it's just a little bit of willingness, put on the uniform. I got this from a Master of Arms at AO. She goes, you want to fulfill your SEAR contract? I said, no. And she tried to talk to me for days, and I would go in her office for days, and she would show me stuff. Finally, she said, okay, are you willing? And I said, no. And she says, well, if you don't have willingness, then you can't do it. And she showed me the back door. Because that was a key factor. And she showed me the reference. See? If your piece ain't willing to look down his track, he ain't going to go nowhere. See? If he isn't willing to fess up in confessionals, he's not going to clean up. See? Willingness is a big factor. And it happens in the mesh universe. Before he can decide to be a good piece, he's got to be willing to be one. That's why you have to find his room. Okay, so there's another. I want to make sure I got the time. Before you're willing to do anything, there's a tone, emotion about it. How much willingness are you wanting to be a cop? You know, there's got to be a lot of willingness for me to be a cop, and I'm not willing, so I'm not going to be a cop. There's got to be some emotion that happens before you're willing to be. See, this is here. It's all playing the game of life. But this happens in the theta universe. It happens real fast because there's one more thing that happens before this, and that's the thought or idea that gets a guy emotionally involved and he's willing to be who have. Does that make sense? Okay, so if you have somebody who's out of valence and he's being a policeman, he doesn't want to be a policeman, but he's being a policeman, he's doing policeman stuff, how much theta is going to be there? Not much. That's why it's so important to find the correct purpose in life, because that's what he's willing to be. That's what he's willing to do. That's what he's willing to have. Does that make sense? See, if you don't get this guy, you're dead in the water. You're gonna get a false valence. You know. Pardon?
What guy is that again?
The first part. If you don't get his purpose, which is right here, the idea. See, every one here had a great idea to be here, and so you're here. See, even existing in the physical universe, there's some sort of purpose. See, there's some sort of purpose why you're here in this universe. I don't care how many lifetimes you've had. You're trying to fulfill that purpose. You better find out what it is. That's all I gotta say. If you want. Any questions about that before we end off? Somebody who's it?
I just had a thing about that, you know, with people that have drug problems, you know, because I work with people that have drug problems. What I find is that the only thing that's going to get them off the drugs is to actually revitalize the purpose.
Right.
That's it.
Right.
I mean, in essence, that's the motivation. Revitalize the purpose.
Good, good. So you have some success doing that. That's good.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Because then you have an agreement. You know, then you have the understanding and agreement where the person has an agreement. Yeah, I don't want, this is not my game anymore. That's not my purpose. My purpose was this, and either I failed at it or it's either failed, no purpose, or.
Got it. Yeah, when I was in the church, I left the church because my purpose wasn't to make David Miscavige a lot of money. That wasn't my purpose. He was trying to enslave me as a pawn. One more question?
Give us an example of what you've done with this. Who did what? Somebody that you got them to find their purpose. What happened?
Oh, okay. We have several people who have always wanted to write their books, and they wind up writing their books. We have on our line, so I have like a stack of books of authors who have authored. I have a guy who did a movie. He always wanted to do a movie. He was an attorney, and he didn't like being an attorney. He wanted to be a script writer and write a movie, and he did, and the movie was produced in Canada. So we have a lot of success on this stuff. I tell you, I did it to a whole group, you know. If you have any more questions about it, see me, and let's break for lunch, okay?